Hello again, and welcome back to Illegally Cited. This is Jesse, aka BGFH, and I am back for another iOS accessible game video. And this game, believe it or not, is actually available on both Android and iOS. So I'm covering this on the iPhone. However, if you have an Android device, you can play it on that as well. So take your platform of choice and you can play it. We are going to be taking a look at a game that just came out on the App Store a few days ago. It is called GoldGun, and it is the first episode. It's GoldGun Episode 1, and it is a first part of a, hopefully a 7-part series, episodic series, of kind of an audio narrative-based game. So, I mentioned on an earlier video, and I mentioned on Twitter as well, if you follow me there, at BGFH79, I was recently on a Blind Abilities interview, a Blind Abilities podcast, and I was a guest on there along with the developers of GoldGun, My True Sound. Had a couple of guys from there. And we had a fun and really interesting discussion just about the game itself, what their ideas were, where it came from, what they're planning to do in the future, not just with GoldGun, but with some of their future titles. And I really, really hope that it does work out well for them because, they really have some interesting ideas. And I think that, if we can get more people developing accessible games and games that people in the mainstream would be able to play along with the blind and visually impaired gamers. They have a lot of good ideas, and I hope it works out for them. So let us take a peek at GoldGun. I have it on my home screen here. Make sure I have my phone unmuted. Okay, I do. And this I typically have played this before, so we're going to give it a shot. And I'd say that you do want to have voiceover running when you do this because that way you can kind of hear the menus. And you flick up and down to go through the menus, and then double tap to go. And then it pretty much just throws you right in. So let's go.
GoldGun. Double tap to open.
All right, GoldGun.
GoldGun. Landscape. Charge port to the left.
All right. You are going to be in landscape, so you're going to want to hold your phone.
Double tap to select.
You're going to want to hold your phone in landscape. And for this one, a couple things I do want to mention before we get going. I find that this game works best. I actually had a little bit of trouble with it in the beginning because I wasn't quite sure what they were wanting me to do. It uses tilt controls. And at first when I was playing it, I was being too subtle. And I thought that, I was supposed to, slightly turn or slightly tilt. And the way I found it is, no, I'm basically just supposed to make more big sweeping tilts. So maybe I have my phone flat in my hands right now, flat like the camera's pointing down at the ground. And then I would just kind of basically, boom, tilt it almost vertical, left or right. And that seemed to work better than going very slowly. Now, the exception to that is there is a mini game. It's also, you can play it again on the main menu here, but at the end of the episode, at the end of the story, they do have a little mini game, and that one you do have to be a little more subtle to figure out that puzzle. And that one you're going to be tilting your device in any number of directions. So you kind of have to subtly move it. You might move it forward, backward, left, right, up, just any angle just to try to get this code that you're trying to do. So let's see what we got here.
How to play. New game.
Got a new game at the top.
Double tap. Heading not found.
Oh, what?
How to play.
Okay, how to play.
Double continue. Button.
Continue.
Access minigame. Button.
And access minigame, that's if you want to play that little, like that game I just described again, which is pretty cool, by the way.
Settings.
But we'll get to that in a little bit.
Double tap to
now,
select.
Settings is kind of misleading because I thought it was going to be, you know, oh, maybe audio levels or music volume versus sound effect volume, maybe some control types in there, but really it's kind of a mission select or kind of a chapter select for this episode. So maybe renaming that to something like, you know, chapter select or something like that, just to make it more indicative of what it is the content that's in that menu. So let's just go to new game.
How to new game.
And I do have a lot to say.
I
do have definitely some thoughts about it, and I'm going to leave it for afterward. But that being said, I am digging this theme song, or I am digging this main menu music. It's kind of cool. Kind of got a cool beat to it. I like it. All right, let's go. We're just going to be thrown right in, and GoldGun Episode 1. This is going to be pretty much a playthrough because this is really short. And it is free, by the way, iOS or Android.
So, it's pretty easy to come here, pretend to be one of us, and then squeal out to the pigs, duh? No, I don't think so. You are dead, ублюдок.
Alright, action time. Get up now. Use double tap to do that. Alright, let's grab this guy behind you. It's not too difficult, just tilt right or left. Now, use him as a shield. Just double tap to do that.
Okay. Anytime you hear that doo-doo, that means it's prompting you for an input.
The enemy is on the right. Tilt right to turn and double tap to shoot.
And it also confirms you're in the right position.
Oh man, that was really fast. The enemy is on the left. Tilt left to turn and double tap to shoot. Now just listen for the footsteps.
So after each instance, I'm returning to the flat center. Got him.
There's too many of them. Time to get out of here. Good. Now, to toss things forward, just double tap. So, get rid of him and rush backwards. Tilt your device backwards. That's all you need to do. The door is right behind you. Again. Okay, now, let's run. Now go forward.
Okay, we're going forward. We're tilting our device forward. And then we're bringing it back to center.
That was a light spot.
I've had tighter spots.
Soren, you have a right turn coming. Now.
Okay, I'm just going to tilt to the right again. Go back to center.
Okay, the door should be coming up on your left. Slow down. It's there.
Okay, grab the door like you grabbed the thug. Just double tap to do that. The doors close by themselves, so don't worry about them.
The ladder is on.
On the back wall, yeah, I remember. Hurry up, grab the ladder. Just double tap to do that. On ladders and stairs and such, move up and down like you normally move forward and backward. Up you go.
Okay, we're going to tilt forward to go up, I guess. There we go.
Talk about tight spots.
Hurry, get into the air vent. Get moving. Go, go!
I like that they put a little bit of echo in there.
In tight spots like this one, you can only move forward and backward and turn when there is an intersection.
They put that kind of
I've got some more company.
metal grating echo.
He must be the guy you whacked on your way here.
Must be? Shouldn't you know? Oh, you've got to be kidding me.
You better knock the first guy out good next time.
Next time, we'll move on to the final practice simulation.
Right. Enough of this.
Shouldn't we get this one right first?
Well, that simulation is only to get you moving in the game environment. The bad guys get you pretty much every time, to be honest.
Well, what is this game environment anyway? The Force has time for games now?
I'll brief you on that. Hi, guys.
Hi, Maria. Wow. Jeez.
What?
Soren is about to get briefed on the game.
Wow, what, Hugo?
Dude, she cut her hair. Like, really? That's awesome.
When have I not looked awesome?
So I'm surrounded by beauty. Well, and you, Hugo.
Hey.
But I believe you,
That's a
Hugo.
good line.
Actually, who cares what you look like? Can I just check out that haircut of yours?
Go ahead.
Wow, that is really short. Maria, wait, please. Let me see your face, too.
Oh, I
Sure,
don't
Agent.
like that line. I don't
I
like
know this
that.
girl.
All right, get up, Soren.
That,
Follow me.
yeah.
Just double tap to do that.
So, am I coming?
Yes, Hugo, you are.
I like Hugo.
You need a hand?
Go ahead, I'll manage. Follow them. Controls like before.
Sure. Just follow me. This way, Soren. And we're here. Here, you'll find a shooting range and a virtual reality maze that you can use to practice your moves and actions. You can come here anytime.
It's the door at the end of this corridor. You can't miss it, really.
Get familiar with your surroundings. Here, take this.
Just double tap to do that.
It's a key card. You can make yourself at home here. Practice rooms, your own office with database access, all you need.
Oh, I have an office?
I'll show you there once you're briefed.
Right. We're moving.
All right, let's walk around a little.
Lead, I will follow. Lead, I will follow.
Where's that from?
It's from a song.
No, really?
Believe it.
You following?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I wasn't... Come on.
Are you coming?
Oh. I wasn't paying attention. I was listening,
Can I ask you a personal question?
but
You don't have to ask that.
wasn't paying attention to the
Personal
direction
question.
at all.
Oh, you. Come on. Hit me.
Right. Well, after your incident, how are your dreams? I mean, what are they like?
I see dreams. They're pretty much the same as before. You know, not the same dreams, but the same, like, quality.
Okay, I think we will go forward. Again, I wasn't paying attention. I was just kind of listening to the
Do you, like,
conversation.
remember stuff and dream that?
Gotta remember
I
to
think
pay
dreams are some
attention.
kind of formulating. Kind of thoughts in the state of formulation. Something you haven't thought out or processed yet.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable.
The mind paints a picture of unseen things, you know? I think dreams are based on some kind of archetypes that come from a deeper place in the brain. I mean, I've had sight, of course. I've seen actual pictures, so I don't know.
You sounded a bit like some kind of mystic there. Have you become a shaman?
Well, it doesn't take much to confuse you, does it? I bet you know many shamans.
Hey. Hey, this way.
Okay, we're going
How's the
left.
simulator been?
I'm getting pretty good at it, actually. Or at least that's what they tell me. I don't really know. It's easier than it was at the beginning. I was like totally lost at first.
It's a bit like playing a game, right?
Yeah, that's right, pretty much. But they keep telling me not to think of it as a game.
Okay, she's going off to the right. So we're gonna meander that direction. Tilt.
No, we have to go for dinner someday.
Have to? You're forcing me?
Shut up.
How are you gonna make me?
Hey, I have my ways. But really, dinner?
Sure. You got a place in mind?
I know a great sushi place. I've actually grown to like the stuff.
Ugh. No thank ye. Going left.
Sushi? You? Really?
Yeah, it's pretty sophisticated actually.
To like sushi?
Alright, come on. I mean, it's a complex, harmonic food.
Wow. Who am I talking to right now?
Now, don't
Pretentious.
worry. I mean, I'd still down a hamburger any day. But I mean, have you ever tried eating with your eyes closed?
I guess so. Sometime.
Okay, we're going right.
I mean, like, really, a whole meal with your eyes closed so that you don't know what's in your mouth.
Nah, I can't say I have. I don't think people do that.
That's right, but they should. Look, if you see what you put in your mouth, it affects the taste. You might not be able to tell chicken from a banana.
Come on, that's not
I
even
don't
like
buy
nearly
that.
the same texture or taste.
That's why it's so fascinating.
Oh, okay. Forward, I think.
Well, hey, how about instead of sushi, we do some kind of blind tasting?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And if I can tell what's chicken and what's banana, what do I get?
Peace of mind.
Yeah, I guess so.
I'll figure something out for you.
It's a deal then. Hugo and Jones are up ahead waiting for us at the elevator. Let's go check out the simulation room.
After you.
Okay, we're going to the right again.
After you.
Okay, going in the elevator. So we're going to tilt forward and walk in.
What floor?
Top secret stuff. Top floor, top secret stuff. Top guys on the case.
That's enough, kid. Please, sit.
Okay.
It's in front of you.
Thanks. Just double tap to do that.
All right, let's get down to business. You know why you're here.
What am I, the new cybercrime game tester?
You're right.
Well, I have been in a virtual audio environment daily for almost a month now. I guess this has something to do with the fact that I lost my sight.
Right again. Have you heard about GoldGun?
Oh yeah, the Bond movie.
It's a simulation.
You're talking about
Not
Man
just
with a
your
Golden
everyday
Gun.
simulation. A huge virtual world, an artificial realm of crime and chaos.
Well, that sounds a bit pretentious.
It is. I know you're familiar with the deep web. GoldGun is all that, converted into a giant, simulated megastructure.
It was practically unhackable until, well, I got in.
Our agents have been scouting in GoldGun. We know there's some big-time business going down by some dodgy characters.
There's a problem, though.
Yeah, I figured.
Hugo?
We have no visual interface.
Audio only?
Audio only.
Many of our people have been caught in GoldGun. If they get you before you can exit, they can do horrible things to your mind.
I'm the only one who can hack in, at least for now.
And even worse, they may be able to track down the location of the simulation interface. That might lead them to Hugo, and him we cannot lose.
Well, yeah, but how am I supposed to pass as not blind in the simulation?
I've written an algorithm that interpolates your movements on the fly, focusing your eyes on certain things. I'm kind of polishing your avatar as you interact with it in the game.
A game.
Well, I call it a game. Or the game. It resembles a playable simulation, so it's easier for me at least to think of it as a game.
The final practice simulation introduces you to what we are up against.
We are expecting a major transaction to take place inside GoldGun any day now. We've been tracking a low-level criminal named Victor.
I made an approximation of him in today's practice run. He was the "you're dead" guy.
He's real? Great.
All right, calm down, everybody. Soren should now enter the final practice run. We'll fill you in after that.
Well, I'm in. Let's get on with it.
After this final training session, you're, in theory, ready to access GoldGun.
I'll upload a gun for you this time.
She kind of reminds me of Q from the Bond movies, but
Good. Oh,
kind of with flat voice acting.
I rendered the gun audio down, so that it won't harm your ears.
good, Hugo. Go get them. There's no one better for the job.
Okay, we just sit here, and I think we're going to be entering the Matrix. I mean, GoldGun soon. Yep, here we go. Neat sounds. That should totally be binaural, though. That should totally be just going like all through like both your channels, like it's kind of swirling around you or something. That would be cool.
Can you hear me?
Here, yeah, I can hear you. It's weird how I can still smell the office.
Yeah, no sync interface available. Wanna try pulling out your pistol?
Hey, you!
You hear them?
Well, yeah, I hear them.
Drop your gun.
Just double tap to do that. Got it.
Note the fire.
Hugo? Were you saying something?
Wait, I mean, just stand by. I'm passing the simulation.
Hey, what's going on?
Hello, Soren. It's Jones.
What is this?
We have to get you to GoldGun right away.
What? You just said I wouldn't be ready to enter GoldGun until after this final practice simulation.
Victor is making the move we've been waiting for. It has to be now.
Is this safe?
We'll take care of you. Can you do it?
Okay, let's do it.
Thank you for doing this.
I'm
Hugo will guide
confused
you
at
in.
that
We're all
breathing.
here.
Is that a mistake?
Wow, this is it then.
Soren,
Yeah, it's me.
looks like we're in a hurry.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Well, I don't blame you. Hey, here's what you have to do to enter the game.
Alright then, let's try it.
To access the game, you need to tilt and rotate the device in different directions. You have to hold your device in the right position to enter the code. Keep listening to the beeping sound. The faster it beeps, the closer you are to the number we need. When you hear a long single beep, it means you're in the right spot. Okay, hold on. I'm saving the information.
Okay, here we go. I'll explain this when we're done. Oh, come on. There we go.
I just received the number we need. Now, you have about 20 seconds to find the next number before the firewall blocks the whole connection. Hurry up. Clock is ticking. If you fail, you have to start all over again with the first number. Hold.
Okay, where are we? got to be quick, but I got to be subtle. Oh, come on. There we go. One more.
Good job. This is the last one. Let's do it.
No, that's slower. No, oh, hang on. There we go. Haha, we didn't fail.
All right, Soren. That was it. You did it. Soren, are you okay? Are you in?
Yes, Hugo. I'm in.
To be continued. Button.
All right.
Double tap to select.
To be continued in giant white letters. That is GoldGun Episode 1. I'm going to double tap here.
New game. Button.
So,
Double tap
yeah,
to select.
there we go. GoldGun Episode 1. I'm going to just close my connection to my iOS device here for the rest of this video. Because I do want to talk a little bit about the game. A little feedback and a couple of other things I just want to say really quick. So, again, like I said, it was really fun to be on the interview and with Blind Abilities and the team at My True Sound. But you know, I'm still going to give honest feedback, and there are definitely things that I both really like and things I maybe don't like so much about the game. So first off, the premise I think is actually really interesting. I like the whole kind of, you know, crime and the combination of being like this crime but yet science fiction kind of stuff, you know, like it starts out, you hit start game and you're like, boom, oh, okay, I'm in an action thing. Okay, this is cool. Where is this going? Am I going to be chasing criminals here as, you know, as I'm this Soren guy as a cop? Turns out, no, you're in a simulation. Okay, so then you go through and you meet some of your crew that you're working with. You meet Hugo and Jones, and I forget the other lady's name. But yeah, that was kind of cool. And then you learn about GoldGun, which, you know, is not this gun, but it's GoldGun is this kind of dark, deep web, dark web thing. You know, like I said, it's kind of like this simulation, like the Matrix sort of a deal. And I like that idea. I do. I really like, because especially with a simulation, you can kind of get away with, you know, there's all kinds of neat things that you might be able to do with that premise as future episodes go by. The sound effects were good. I like the binaural audio. They could have maybe used it a little bit more in a couple of places. Like I said, especially going into that simulation where they did that really kind of neat sound effect. That would have been kind of cool to have it just kind of, you know, supporting binaural audio and just going around you, or, you know, in both ears, kind of like a stereo separation binaural thing. That would have been pretty cool. The other thing with like this whole walking conversation, as far as like the sound effects go, I get that you don't want to overpower your conversation with any a lot of background noise. But if you're walking through this big facility, and you are walking through the thing for a few minutes, actually, you know, it'd be kind of neat to hear, again, making use of the binaural audio. You know, oh, maybe you're walking by and you hear kind of this, you can kind of eavesdrop on a conversation as you're walking through. You maybe hear a couple of people conversing, or you hear some interesting sound effect. Maybe you hear some machinery or some, you know, just something off to the right or into the left, and as you're kind of walking by and you're turning, almost like it'll set you landmarks as well, like if you were to ever come back there. So, but I mean, yeah, just to have some kind of more environmental stuff to, you know, set the sense of place a little bit more, a little bit of ambience. So Yeah, and once I figured out the tilting controls, like I said, I actually did have trouble with it the first time I played, because I was trying to be too sensitive with tilting my device, and it just was not registering. And I'm like, why the heck? What am I doing? I thought I was supposed to, like, tilt it and find a sweet spot, kind of like I was playing something like Audio Defense or something like that, where I was trying to... Tilting would mean tilting... tilting would be subtly tilting left to right, and it wasn't working like that. So once I figured that out, I'm like, oh, okay, I got this. It's easy, and I can pretty much do it every time. But yeah, so, and they never said it was going to be an action game. It's a story-based game with some mini games and some action sequences and stuff like that, but it's really focused on the story, which is fine. In a way, it kind of reminds me of, if you go back and look at my iOS accessible game spotlight video playlist. A while back, I had done a game, not even sure if it's on the iOS store anymore. I don't know if it's still alive or if it got pulled, but I have a video for a game called Codename Cygnus. Codename Cygnus, not sickness, but I think it's something like Codename CYGNUS or something like that. And they were going for this kind of a radio play audio drama thing where you had little action sequences and stuff, and you were choosing which way what you wanted to do. So you weren't even really playing mini games, but you were just kind of making choices in this audio drama. And this adds a little more interactivity than something like that, which I do like, which is good. So that's, yeah, I mean, it has a promising start. There are a few things that I think fell a little bit flat. First off, the blindness thing overall, and I've read a little bit of stuff online from like user forums and things like that, which I'll talk about shortly. But, I don't mind a little bit of blindness stuff here and there. And some of it doesn't bug me near as much as it does some other people that I've seen. But the scene where, like, okay, maybe if you're this crew of people and you know each other pretty well, okay, you might just you might feel the hair just to see how short it is, but feeling somebody's face, just not something somebody's going to do. It's generally not acceptable. People like their space is kind of considered inappropriate. That part could definitely be cut out, because that just seemed really awkward. The dream stuff I really didn't mind, actually. The dream, like, oh, now that you lost your vision, like, how do you dream? Like, do you see like you did when you had sight, or do you just see like a black void, or what? I mean, I kind of get that. I mean, that didn't bother me. That was kind of interesting. But the whole eating thing, that seemed a little bit awkward too, just because we're focusing so much on sight and not the job. Like, every part of our conversation has to be about my vision. And, for me, yeah, I'm legally blind. I'm illegally sighted, whatever you want to call it. But that doesn't factor into very many of my conversations at all. Whether it's with strangers or coworkers or friends, we'll talk about other stuff. We talk about the weather, we talk about work, we talk about our hobbies, or the latest Netflix thing we're binging, or whatever. But yeah, I mean, very rarely, unless it's something really significant, do we really go, yeah, let's talk about our vision and philosophize about just weird things like that. And between a banana and chicken, I mean, I think even any sighted person could easily do that. I mean, for one, the texture is totally different. The shape is different a lot of times. I mean, it probably, they smell different. They, the moment you feel them or the moment you put them in your mouth, I mean, it's going to be different. So that one, I guess, kind of fell flat for me a little bit too. But yeah, So the blindness stuff, that's all I'm really going to say about that. Some of it I didn't mind so much, but I don't think we need to rely on that in the future so much. I mean, bring him out as a character. Don't let blindness be that main character, Soren. Don't let that be his main characteristic. Like, hey, we know he's blind. Yay. Okay, cool. So yeah. The other thing as it relates to voice acting, I know that they're doing this on a small budget, and so they don't have a lot of professional actors and things like that. But a lot of the voice acting in general kind of came off flat to me, more like they were reading from the dialogue itself, like the lines themselves weren't really that bad. But the delivery was just like, it just kind of fell flat. Like, I am reading this from a script. Oh no, you are the only person that can help us because you have the most skills. Like, that's not the way people talk. Soren especially, like the main character, there was a couple of lines where he kind of started to emote a little bit, and that was, I think, right when they were in the vents and just as they were exiting that first simulation. There were a couple of lines where he kind of put a little bit of feeling into 2 or 3 lines that he had, but the rest of them is just like, yeah, I'm gonna talk about like this, and it's kind of partly me reading from a script, but I'm just really bored or something. So, I mean, you can be kind of a drier or more of a monotone, character. I mean, I'm not saying that people should overact either, because if it's really, really hammy, I mean, just go look at the original Resident Evil videos, don't open that door. I mean, it's just so laughably bad. So you don't want to overact either, but I mean, mainly just kind of make it sound like you're conversational. Make it sound like run the lines as if you were talking to somebody. Like, if I'm talking to you and I say, hey, you got through the simulation. Nice job. Not, oh, you got through the simulation. Nice job. Just like, how would you congratulate somebody, if they did something well? Or just thinking about the context of each line, how you would say that if you were in a real conversation. Forget about being in a script, forget about it being in a game or a movie or an audio something or other. But just how would you talk, And trust me, I'm just giving this as some general ideas. I mean, I'm by no means a voice actor. I have never done any voice acting for any game or audio anything. I've done a few YouTube videos. I've been guest on a couple of podcasts, but that's about it. That being said, I think I've always thought about being a character in a game, or just doing, even if it was a smaller bit part. I think it would be kind of fun just to say, hey, yeah, I was a character in an audio drama or in a game, or like, especially a game, because that's what I really love to do. I think it would be really fun to kind of do that. And like I said, we were talking a little bit about that during the initial the Blind Abilities podcast, a little off air there. But so, you never know. Maybe I'll end up in a future episode. You never know. But yeah, I think if they kind of went back and looked at some of the way that the lines were delivered. Like I said, the lines themselves actually aren't too bad. Just maybe not sound so much like you're reading from a script, and just be conversational. Like, say it how you would. Like, if that lady Jones, as she comes in, we got to pull you out of the we got to pull you out now. Like, we have to get into the simulation now. Or when they're in the vent, it's like, whew, that was close, man. Like you're out of breath or something a little bit. Just little things like that. I've almost thought about just going through, like listening to the audio of the game again, and just kind of thinking about how I would say some of those lines. Because, you know, you don't have to necessarily have professional, you know, super high paid talent in order to make something sound good, especially, you know, you want to do something on a budget that you can afford. But I've thought about just like going through and just seeing how, like, could I deliver the lines, you know, some of the lines a little better? How would I do that? You know, like I said, without making it sound too over the top, but not making it sound too dry. So those would be the major kind of suggestions that I have as far as what's there. Something that would be kind of cool in future episodes, like she made this, when she gave you the key card, I think it was Jones, she gave you the key card and was telling you like, oh, here's your shooting range and here's your, you know, you have an office. And when he was talking, he's like, oh, I have an office? Like, oh, I have an office? You know, or just the way you could say that. But I mean, she was talking about all these different maybe activities. So maybe in the future, it would be kind of neat if you could explore the station a little bit. You know, maybe you could go practice your virtual shooting range. They mentioned some kind of a maze thing. You know, maybe you could go into your office and look at your case files, or you could have certain things to interact with, in your office. You know, again, just to build some backstory, build some atmosphere, get some more, you know, background on your character, all of those types of things. So that could be something that they could add for the future. So that would be, you know, in addition to all of the other stuff when you're actually in the simulation. So you can have, you know, more of an open world thing in the simulation, or however that's going to go. But then just being able to even, you know, jump between different locations in your police station or wherever you are, to be able to explore that. I think that would be a pretty neat thing to explore. So those are, I think, my primary feedback for the game. It is free. It is available on Android and iOS right now, and I'm glad it is free because, like I said, it was pretty short. I plowed through it in, what, 20 minutes, if that. So, but it gives people an idea, you know. You have Android, you have iOS, go grab it. You know, they want to get a number of downloads. They want to get a lot of downloads to prove to investors that this can be something viable, so that other people will invest in what they're doing. And so they can actually create the future episodes. So, you know, download it, give it a shot. And you know, is it a perfect game? No. Do things definitely need some work? Sure, they do. Oh, and one other thing with the voice acting, the Hugo character, I like him, but I think he was sort of hard to understand. Not necessarily for his accent. Like, I didn't have a problem with the accent, actually. I thought it was kind of cool. But it kind of sounded either really kind of quiet or muffled, or maybe like, you know, throw your voice out there a little bit more, enunciate, kind of talk a little bit louder, because it was like, I'm going to talk like this. And then if it's off to the side or something, it's just kind of really hard to hear. So like I said, I think the accent is actually really cool. But due to either kind of being muffled or mumble a little bit, if that was brought out a little bit more, speak a little bit more loudly, a little bit clearer, I think that character would be really, really cool. So, that is kind of my general thoughts on the game. Like I said, it was very straightforward, not a whole lot to it. But like I said, the premise is good, and I'm kind of intrigued to see where the future episodes go. So I'll definitely be looking forward to checking those out when they do appear. That being said, before I wrap up, I just want to briefly say, I've seen a couple of threads now, a couple of forum threads. Initially, there wasn't too much conversation when I looked on AppleVis, but they had posted a link on the audio games forums, and man, I know some people were really, like, a lot of people were just like outraged on the blindness stuff. I mean, yeah, some of it a bit cringeworthy. Yeah, absolutely. But people just got really, really mad. And kind of just seemed to attack the developer a little bit. I mean, you can say that you don't like this and why, but you got to be constructive about it and just not say, "You suck. This sucks." I'm not trying to be abrupt, but yeah, I'm kind of being an asshole, kind of a thing. But yeah, like the audio games forums, like they were really kind of harsh on it, and people were just like really surprisingly negative. And then I went over to Applevis. I looked this morning, and people actually were a little bit better about it. I mean, the comments seem to be a little bit more positive, a little bit more constructive, saying, okay, yeah, these are the things that I would, that need to be fixed, or these are the things that I didn't really care for. But actually, some of the posts were actually pretty well written, and like I said, just weren't completely bashing the developer. Like I said, I kind of feel bad for them because I know it's their first attempt. They just started. This is their first project. And you still want to be honest. You still want to, do actual criticism, constructive criticism, but, you don't have to be a dink about it either. And even when I don't like something on the channel, like there's definitely been a few games where I haven't really liked. I'm like, oh, this game is kind of terrible. One of the ones I can think of, what was it, the Bubsy Twofer collection, when they put that on Steam, and ooh, that was a train wreck because it kept crashing and there were control issues and all kinds of things. But I was trying to describe why, and not just say, oh, this sucks and these developers should be beaten and whatever. Or Tony Hawk 5. God, that was the most disappointing thing because I love me some Tony Hawk games. But when that came out, I was just so utterly disappointed that just the way that they did the levels, the way they did the controls weren't right, the weird going in and out of lobbies, and just there's all kinds of things about that game that didn't make sense. And I did kind of rip it a new one, but I still tried to be like, I know a lot of developers worked on that game, and probably some of the things that were made, were decided on weren't maybe decided by the team. Maybe management said, oh, that we want this to, we want the game to be this, or we want something to work a certain way, and then it just didn't pan out. But yeah, so you can definitely criticize, but just kind of watch it, because I'm when I was reading that audio games thread, I was thinking, God, I hope a lot of other game developers maybe don't read this thread, because let's say you got a group that's thinking maybe we should make a game, maybe we could make a title for blind or low vision users, or maybe we want to put some accessibility into our mainstream game for blind and low vision users. And then they start doing some research and they go, wow, I know this is a small market, so should we do it? And then they see some of these comments and people just ripping a developer apart. People will be like, maybe we don't want to do anything because these guys are mean, man. Like, do we want to waste our time on this small group that's not appreciative? And then you add to that, the whole thing of, I don't want, that I've talked about before, of just a lot of people not willing to or wanting to pay even a small amount for a game. So you combine those kind of two attitude kind of things together, and it's you kind of start to understand why there aren't near as many accessible / audio games out there. So, just some thoughts, just kind of a word of caution for people. So anyway, that is GoldGun Episode 1, the game itself, and some thoughts and feedback. I hope you guys enjoyed it. you can definitely check our interview out on the Blind Abilities podcast too. I've linked to that on my Twitter feed, so go check that out. Follow me on Twitter at BGFH79, and you can follow me on Mixer as well, mixer.com/BGFH. And until next time, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you guys again later.